Hi, and welcome to the podcast. We weren't sure whose opening it is anymore.
Honestly, if you didn't say anything, Klops, no, fuck it, because this is what I was gonna do anyways. Is if Klops didn't say anything, I was gonna say, fuck it, we're starting the goddamn podcast because we already started the goddamn podcast. So
Oh,
there it is. There's your opening. Is we really need to get better at just starting with our pre-banter because you know what's even worse though is that's already a gimmick. The Nerdist podcast used to do exactly this. He would just start recording while the dialogue was getting really natural and pick up from there because it's such a natural starting point. But
Yeah, but to be fair though, there's a lot of shit talking that happens before that shouldn't be carried into the podcast.
well,
I just think this should be bonus things for Patreons, and we should start a Patreon.
we actually have to have people who watch the podcast.
Yeah, I was
first.
about to say.
I mean, you could have both starting off and going.
We just pay ourselves.
We started
Yay!
with Liam.
I'm my biggest fan.
Hi, how is everybody?
Doing good. Are you guys networking?
I mean, I kind of work at IT.
Yeah, but I mean networking for our podcast, because I think that's the problem.
So here's the thing: is I don't really have anybody to network to.
Case
You don't
in
have
point,
coworkers?
I would
Um,
get fired if any of my coworkers heard what I talk about on here.
I don't have coworkers who do any of the things that we do.
Yeah.
You should make some friends then.
Yeah, I've been meaning to do that, but I'm in like a whole new state, and I don't know how to do that in my 30s without being creepy.
Just go to the local game shop and play games, and then like make friends.
Yeah, but he's like
Go to your local GameStop.
he's like twice
and,
as old as most of those guys.
Wait,
and go play games at GameStop and make new friends.
speaking of which, Eduardo, transition segue.
Oh yeah, welcome to another episode of 5G
Took him
Podcast.
so long to get there, Klops. I was with you from the first.
Oh, I understood. I'm just like not gonna do what you say, Klops. You piece
Don't
of
listen
shit.
to him. Don't.
See,
listen.
I naturally give you guys things to go on, and you guys just
Oh,
decide.
the one time, yes.
It's not the one time. It's not the one time. It's multiple times. But go ahead. Introduce
no.
us.
Seriously, welcome
why I
to
drink.
another episode of the podcast. The surly one above me is Klops.
Hi.
The surly one below me is Bonsai.
Also high.
Everyone's high. Woo! All
Okay,
right.
you are, big guy.
So
And drinking.
yeah. So
Surprise.
less pretense. There's actually some pretty big news that we should put out as soon as possible to all of our 28 viewers. Take it away, Bonsai.
So, I want to go ahead and drop this, but with a big fat disclaimer. Only parts of this are confirmed. Everything else is hearsay. And I will say, I'll drop the name of the source in a minute. The source does show what appears to be text and email conversations, but I say that knowing full well that those can be faked very easily. Like, very, very easily. There are meme generators for making text-based things that look like text message conversations. So, this could be fake, though kind of given the state that things have been in for a while, I'm willing to guess that it's not. So there's a YouTuber who's starting to build up a name for himself called Camelot. I think it's 123, maybe it's 123. It's Camelot and then a series of very simple numbers. Who has been reporting for a while that GameStop has had this plan in their back pocket called Phase 3. What Phase 3 was the mass shutdown of GameStops. Not full bankruptcy, not GameStop 100% gone, but GameStop probably 70, 80, 90% less stores. Like that big. Like a lot. And apparently Phase 3 just started. Like pretty much confirmed. So here's what is confirmed. And confirmed by like some quick, simple Google searches and some looks around online. I think that the last count that I saw was about 72 stores around the US will all be closed before January. I realize 72 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing such a hurry as to do it by this just got announced this weekend, and they're closed by January.
Wow.
That's a lot of stores to shut down in a hurry. This
In 2
comes on
weeks.
top of, right. This comes on top of the news that I believe it's 100% If it's not 100, it's like 80 or 90% of Scandinavian stores are going to be closed. Gone.
Mm.
Now, here's the parts that are unsubstantiated. What Camelot is reporting. And actually, it's funny that you put this up, though. I'm seeing like 3 for 2 sales and a bunch of yellow stickers. It looks like this store might be going. Camelot 331. Thank you to the chat. 331. Really, like I'm not like even like a huge fan of his videos. I stumbled upon him. He's been reporting on this rapid decline for a while, and then I saw this one today. But here's the part that's unsubstantiated. Supposedly, he is a former GameStop employee who has done shutdowns and things with the company before. I think he was either a store manager, if not a district manager. Don't hold me to any of that, but he was higher up enough that he has done some of these things. So he has an insider who is at GameStop corporate who is reporting that the current plan, Phase 3, is in effect. It's happening. It's live now. The 72 stores are the start, and that's starting January 1st. Starting January 1st, 300 to 500 stores will be closed per month for the next 5 to 6 months.
So, are we saying that the shutdown of ThinkGeek was the canary in the coal mine?
We all kind of saw well, it's not even just ThinkGeek. They also fired a bunch of the staff of Game Informer.
It's true.
Their quarterly earnings, quarter after quarter after quarter, have been bad upon bad upon bad. I don't know if it's been all decline, but none of it's been good.
And so far, like, that's not even the worst part. What I thought was devious was the other part you were telling me about. It's still rumor, but
right. And again, this is hearsay based on employees and based off what Camelot 331 is reporting. This is a practice that he has seen while he was an employee. Apparently, it is GameStop policy when a store shuts down to not honor any pre-orders done from that store. The policy as it stands now is to take that pre-order money, load it onto gift cards, and send those gift cards to corporate and let corporate handle the customers to figure out how they're going to handle pre-ordered games. But basically, GameStop collects that money, and if you don't call them and fight them, you get nothing, and they just take that to the bank. To the point where even if you go to another GameStop, he said in the situation he was in, it was a GameStop across the street, they would still not honor your pre-order because it was not pre-ordered at that location. It's loaded onto a gift card. It's sent to corporate. Corporate will deal with it. And corporate, from what he says, does not honor 100% of those requests.
That's
on top of this, there is also a report again from one of his insiders that the current plan for GameStop is to sell as many gift cards as possible during the holiday season, only to then shut down stores and make it next to impossible to use said gift cards. In other words, try and drive up the sales, bank their money, cash the fuck out, and make it really hard for you to then spend that money. Super shitty, super shady. Again, a lot of this is hearsay. It's based off of a YouTuber, but the YouTuber comes with some credibility as a lot of stuff he's been saying has been coming true, and supposedly he has insiders at the company who are reporting this. And I'm not trying to tarnish the guy's name. I just don't know him. I can't verify any of this, obviously.
Yeah.
So based on what he's reporting, this is the best we have, but it sounds like more or less GameStops are going to be fewer and further between. They're going to do what they can to collect money off of you and dip out with that money and not honor it. I would say err on the safe side. If you're going to buy a game from GameStop, you're probably fine. If you're going to pre-order a game or buy a gift card, maybe reconsider. Maybe go with another place that has a nice electronics section or a small mom and pop shop. A lot of retro stores are starting to carry limited supply of new titles these days. I know I've bought a few. I bought Outer Worlds from a retro game store that I frequent. So maybe just don't feed the beast. Like, I hate to say it because asking people to stop. So let's play devil's advocate for a second. This is a guy who has a known beef with GameStop, has said flat out that he has a known beef with GameStop, and is now saying a thing that could drive people from giving GameStop holiday funds. Let's play devil's advocate for a second. This could just be a really smart, malicious guy who's planting this seed. Totally legit argument. I don't know for a fact.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, GameStop hasn't really shown themselves to be honest in the past. That's the problem. That's why I'm inclined to believe it. Because...
You know what sucks, though? I'm actually not a GameStop hater. Like, I'm not gonna be like, they're the best game store. No, that was FuncoLand. FuncoLand was the shit, bro.
Actually, before GameStop,
GameStop bought them out.
Sorry,
EB was dope.
Was good.
EB was dope, but I was a Funko guy. I love FuncoLand. GameStop is not my least favorite game store I've ever been to. What's nice is the consistency and the like. I'm just not a guy who's sold on shit. I don't buy protection plans. I don't resell games. And I know that's a big gripe for people is the trade-in value is shit there, but I don't really trade in games. I'm a collector. So it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
So my thing with GameStop is I actually frequent GameStop quite a bit, but not for games at all. I don't like buying games at GameStop. I buy the little like mystery figurines of different kinds and like buy those.
That's the thing I actually complain about a lot is I don't like that.
I love them.
That's interesting that you're into it.
I get stuff like this little.
You get baubles.
Well, this is a bauble. It was a random bauble.
Oh, I refer to any sort of like bric-a-brac as bauble. Pin, that's a bauble. They're all
okay. I got Captain Kirk. Right. I like that
bauble.
See, I like those things. And that's why I go to them. But like, there are certain GameStops, like one by my work, that it just doesn't really have anything, right? And they're just focused on games, and that's fine, you know. But I didn't find anything there that I really cared about. And it was kind of like shit service and wasn't all that great and just wasn't really good pricing for a lot of things. And
I will give you the shit service, but I don't think it's shit service because they're bad. I think it's shit service because they're so pressured to be selling you something that these guys can't actually sit down and talk games and build a community. They're so focused on making sales or getting fired that they can't actually just like I go to my retro game store. This thing is a 30-minute drive. I have a closer retro game store, but I go to one that's further from me because even though I've only been in there 3 or 4 times, they know me as, oh, that Sega guy. Because I come in and I exclusively buy Genesis shit from there. But I love that I can sit down with those guys and I can name obscure Genesis shit and they're on point with it. I love that. And I choose that store because of the community that's there. And GameStop used to have that. Back in the day, like when I was fresh out of high school, so 2006, 2007-ish, I knew the manager of my local GameStop, like on a first name basis. We chatted, we talked games, we talked upcoming stuff. That was a community that hit that place. Now, that shit doesn't exist.
See, I was actually closer to Game Crazy. Game Crazy was another store that was like it. And
that was
like,
another like buyout
those
one,
guys I really liked. And it was, I think they went under because they were also part of like Hollywood Video. And when that went under, they went under. It was kind of one of those things. But
so a lot of times I get mad at GameStop and shit because not only do I know people that have worked there and have been dicked around, but a lot of times like they just they fuck around with you. They fuck around with the people that work there, and they any chance to get to not honor some of their commitments. Like at one point I pre-ordered a game and they were like, sorry, well, you can't have the game. We're out. And I was like, what do you mean you're out? What's the fucking point of pre-ordering? Oh, well, we didn't pay enough attention, this and that. And then I was like, okay, fine. Well, then can I get the pre-order bonus? Because it comes on the receipt. And they're like, oh, no, we can't give that out. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? You owe me a copy. Because back when I used to pre-order, I just paid for the whole fucking thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm like, you didn't give me a copy. And am I going to be able to come back, in a couple days when you get new stock and get the pre-order bonus? Like, what was the fucking point of coming here? And they didn't honor it, and I lost out on that particular pre-order bonus. Like,
Actually, a similar story when The Darkness came out. Me and my wife were big fans of The Darkness comic book.
Dude, yeah, I remember.
The only reason we pre-ordered The Dark, because I was going to buy it either way. I didn't need to pre-order it. The only reason we pre-ordered is because it was supposed to come with a Darkling plushie. My wife is huge on plushies. She loves The Darkness comic. She could give a fuck about the game. She wanted a Darkness plushie. I went in to pick up my game, and they're like, oh yeah, we gave all of them out. It's like, what the fuck do you mean you gave them out? You have my pre-order game sitting there. How do you not have one game per plushie? Oh, I don't know. The fuck do you mean you don't know? You get one for one, you jackwagon. It's not a plushie for the first 200 customers. It was pre-order the fucking game, get a fucking plushie. To this day, I still don't have a plushie. I never got it. I never got my plushie.
Yeah, and so that's the fucking thing. Like, and
yes,
I know
I said flucking.
And I know
my thing is that when I pre-order a game, if that game didn't come out, if it wasn't developed or anything, that money was gone. Like StarCraft Ghost or whatever.
Something else.
No. I tried to. I was like, I pre-ordered this game. It's no longer. It says going under. Can I transfer money? Oh no, we don't have it anymore. We don't have that money.
Yeah, that's really fucking dumb. Also, you should have made some noise. Apparently, that's the only way they'll give you your fucking money back.
Bro.
Which is stupid. I shouldn't have to. I should be able to just transfer on to another pre-order. It's fucking easy.
Yeah, no, like I said, they for a while.
So I get why people don't like them, right? You know, but like,
yeah, it makes sense.
At the same time, like, other stores are just going to fill that void. They're going to go, fine. There's going to be other brick and brack stores that have it.
I was actually starting to think of this though. What's the chain that fills the GameStop void?
Best Buy.
Yeah,
they have
not really a GameStop.
No, but they have a very extensive.
Maybe where
section.
you are, where I am at, my Best Buy's game section is kind of shit.
Okay.
So Best Buy's policy is that when something goes under, like a toy store, like was it Toys R Us? They want to fill that void because they're a brick and brack shop, and they like being a brick and brack shop where you can go in, you can hold a product, and you can buy that product. So
disclaimer:
GameStop
he
going,
works.
Yes, I do. So I have a little bit more insider knowledge that I'm not sharing.
You don't think that maybe it would be a video game only chain that would fill that void?
One.
Well, that's my thing is I don't know that there is one, but maybe this is a chance for some like small state chain to fill it in.
So the thing is that with video games, things are going all digital. They're even selling like Xbox One S's that are strictly only digital.
I keep hearing people say it, but I keep seeing like people keep saying this, but when I actually talk to people, most people I know who are not exclusively PC gamers still buy physical.
Right. And I understand that. But I think the gaming industry as a whole is starting to push towards digital market, right? Where they can control the prices.
Shit anymore.
They can control the pricings. They can control the deals. They can control all that. It's all kept in-house instead of going to a distributor and going out.
When digital games carried the promise of cheaper games because they didn't have to give you a disc, and now they're the exact same price.
Yeah, and more actually.
But at the same time, to play devil's advocate for that, game development has gotten more, and so with inflation staying at $60 instead of the normal $120, which is where it should be at, it's still at $60.
Bullshit. There are several studios who have released AAA quality games with like 10 to less than 100 person development teams, and they're proving that the AAA market is largely bullshit.
Yeah, it is. It's advertisement and marketing is really where it goes. Also, though, for a game developer to put a game on a thing, it actually does cost them more money. I know some people that have worked on like some games. I won't say which ones because I can't keep them inside. No. But it costs them triple the amount to put a game on a disc or a Nintendo cartridge than it did for a Steam key. Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like those kind of games and stuff for the developer, depending on the developer, they may not be able to do that. Right? They can only go digital, right? And just getting it on the distribution center for like Sony or for Nintendo is also like more of a hassle, right? Because now you're putting them on console and you have their kind of market as well. I'm not saying that the AAA market is right in a lot of their business practices, because clearly they're not.
No,
but I'm just saying that with the price of inflation, paying $60 isn't that much of a deal compared to paying the $120. And honestly, I'd rather spend the $120, $150 on a game than pay $60 for a game that's gouged and then have DLC come out.
I just
But the
I
problem
can
is
tell you
that
this
you're not going to get that option.
from where I stand and where from most retro gamers that I talk to.
Mhm.
And that's not a small people still look at retro gaming as this weird niche community.
No.
That is a really big community these days.
Nostalgia
Yeah.
is fucking strong, dude.
From where most of us are standing, the day the 3 major consoles only release a version that is no disc is the day a lot of us stop buying modern console and just go to playing purely retro. Like,
Right.
I really think that. And, actually, it was. I'll credit another YouTuber, Jim Sterling, guy me and Eduardo have followed for years. Just did a video on. Oh Lord, I cannot remember the name of the
Tron?
game. Tron.
Legacy.
Tron. Yes, there is a Tron game that is out. That if Klops, if you own Tron and it is not currently installed on your computer, you can't play it.
Right.
Because the guys who did the DRM for it are no longer in bed with Disney, and so now there's no way to authenticate your game, and for all intents and purposes, you own a game that you cannot play. They claim they're going to fix it. Who knows if they really will? Who knows how long you are without a service that you paid to own, not to rent, not to lease. You paid to own that, and it's gone. And I truly do not understand how modern gamers are so comfortable with not actually owning their goods. I even saw guys so far as to shoot down the argument against Google Stadia. But somebody brought up, like, I can't buy into Google Stadia because I don't own my games, and at any point in time they can shut down the server and I won't have my games. And he went, that's like 10 years down the road. Why do you even care?
Because I
That
want to
was
keep
his
playing my
act-
fucking games.
But that was this guy's actual argument and mentality, is like, worry about not owning your stuff when you don't own it. For now, just buy it. That's insane to me. I will never, ever, for my comics, for my game collections, honestly, even for my movies and DVDs,
Yeah,
I
I
do
still
not
collect
buy
those.
a solely digital version.
Yep.
I don't mind having digital copies. I don't, even if there's DRM, I don't mind that I have to have some service to get my streaming copy, as long as I have the physical copy for when that shit is gone. It fucking blows my mind that so many, like, I'm sorry, here's where I'm going to call out gamers. If you're 100% fine with 100% digital, I'm sorry, you're a moron for trusting companies to constantly service and maintain where your shit lives. Good luck constantly buying hard drive upon hard drive upon hard drive to make sure you never have to uninstall something and hope that those hard drives hold out forever, because once those servers are down, they're gone forever. And it's not even like this is a niche case. There are several games that are gone. Tony Hawk, a console game.
That's right.
A console game is no longer available to play.
It's because the only thing that was on the disc was like the first level.
The loading, it wasn't even the first level. It's the menu. It is just the menu and loading screens. The entire game lived in the cloud, and the game failed, so they yanked it off the cloud, and now the game is gone. Think about Xbox, the Xbox 360. Do you really think they're going to keep those servers live forever? Your digital games are gone in another 5 years.
To be fair, though, 360
max.
did not have that many digital games, but a lot of digital DLC.
You were able to purchase games digitally, though. If you bought fucking Crackdown on the 360 digitally, it's gone once they pull it off
Yeah,
the
that's
server.
true.
And if you red ring your shit, doesn't matter how many 360s you buy. After that point, it's gone. I can't buy into digital gaming solely. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean,
There's my rant. Sorry. I
There's
do one
certain
rant an
games-
episode, and there it is.
there's certain games that I didn't mind it for. So let me play devil's advocate here. When I lost, well, didn't lose, when my Switch got stolen, I lost my physical games. And they were just gone. And there was no way to recover them. And that's not the case. Like, I've had laptops stolen now, and I'm like, I mean, I like the laptop, but that's kind of about it, right? Like, got everything else on the cloud. So I get where you're coming from, but I will say that there are certain advantages about being digital. Although I do believe in never go digital only.
Right.
For
Again,
consoles,
I'm
at
not
least.
against digital.
For
I'm
consoles.
against solely digital.
Yeah, but
And
you know,
I know Steam users are like, we're around forever, bro.
nope.
Gabe is the one keeping that together. And the day that very overweight, rapidly aging man dies, some asshole like a Tim Cook fucking takes over Steam, you bet your ass they'll sell it, they'll change it, they'll do whatever they can to make it not the thing that Gabe thought it was. All it takes is a couple of really, like, all it takes is one bad year. One bad year for Steam. That shit sells. It goes to somebody who maybe doesn't want to service it, and they blow your games away to make you buy it on another platform.
Oh yeah, look at everything GameStop ever acquired.
I'm saying that's all that it takes, man.
The other problem though is that like
security.
one, there's already other competitors for games on the PC market, so I don't think Steam will actually fall apart that bad. If it does, but it does, then I mean there's other outlets.
You missed
But
what I'm
also,
saying, like because these other outlets spinning up are what's going to cause it.
wait, also, where the fuck am I supposed to buy PC games now?
I don't get why GameStop does. You know what's crazy? GameStop online is so much better than going in the store. You can buy retro. I can buy Sega Genesis games on GameStop online. I can buy big box PC games, and they just don't carry it in the store.
Do you think
it's
they're gonna?
crazy?
Do you think they're gonna close their online shop?
I hope not, because the online shop and like the prices are fair. They're not crazy good. You're not getting a crazy deal.
Honestly, they should just move to an online distribution and just do that.
Seriously, I'm 100%. But for your Klops, you were right. And honestly, I actually get disappointed in a lot of retro shops. A lot of retro shops just don't carry PC games.
I think it's because most of the game market,
mind.
they don't make them. They just make Steam keys.
And
For modern, but I mean I mean even retro. Like, do you know most of my local game stores, with how popular Diablo 2 was, every retro shop in the world should have a copy of Diablo 2.
Or at least Battle Chest.
You just should. And yet a lot of the retro shops I go to don't carry PC.
Well,
and I'm like,
it's because it's
do you
harder,
not like
right?
money?
It's harder because of a lot of the DRM. Like once that CD key, especially for the old Blizzard games, once that CD key's burnt, you can't fucking use it again.
You can't use it online. Even Diablo 2, you couldn't take it online, but you can play the main game.
No, you need the CD key to install.
Motherfucker, I'm telling you 197%. I have a copy of Diablo that I've used for the last 15 years that I have never owned the CD key for, and I have played that game every time.
Well, are we
I
talking
cannot
about
on
cracks?
Battle.net. No. It is an in-box copy I bought from an older brother of mine, and yes, my older brothers are the kind of guys who sell me stuff and not give me stuff. I bought it from him. He retains the Battle.net key. I do not have it. The game will install. The game will play. It will not go on.
Wow, because
some games don't do that, but I'm saying specifically for Diablo.
Okay,
Diablo,
because I know StarCraft,
the Blizzard ones will.
No,
StarCraft
you needed the CD key to install because I took my StarCraft and I wrote my CD key on it, and I'd bring it to school, and I would install it on the computer at school. I'd play it for the day, I'd uninstall it, and come back the next week with it again.
That might have been changed post or something, because I have the exact same situation with StarCraft and Brood War. Though my Brood War is a burned copy, the StarCraft copy is a legit copy, and I've installed it on several computers. Just fine.
Yeah.
So that maybe they put, or maybe like later versions of it, because I didn't buy it when it released. I got into StarCraft way late. So maybe later versions scrub this, but I can tell you,
maybe
the old Blizzard games I have.
I bought mine at Costco. The same time I bought fucking, a Half-Life Blue Shift in Opposing Forces.
Yeah, I had a friend.
I never played Blue Shift.
It was fun. I really enjoyed it.
That wasn't bad. Okay, so we've been talking about GameStop a lot and ranting a lot.
Yeah, sorry, there's the rant. That's GameStop. Da-da-da-da-da-da. They suck.
Hey!
They don't suck. They're just going to be gone.
Yeah, which is really shitty, especially that they're being shady at the end. But
I had a lot of good friends at GameStop, man, and honestly, the people I feel bad for are the employees.
Yeah, that's always.
Apparently, even the ones that were just announced as closing by the end of January, the employees did not find out until the signs were going up in the window that it was a closing out sale.
Dude, and near the holidays, that's fucking
Right.
shitty.
It's really harsh. So I even heard rumor that there was something like a 10K incentive for managers to go and shut down other stores and fire all the people as long as they didn't tell anybody about it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. All right, anything but GameStop. Klops,
All right.
something that isn't GameStop.
Well, I played Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order.
That's way too close to GameStop because it's EA and they also suck. No, I'm kidding. Go.
That one.
So I have to say I'm pretty amazed with this game.
I
think
don't
that
believe
it's
you. Go on.
it's way better than what I thought it was going to be. So I had the first reaction that everybody has a reaction when they say Star Wars and EA in the same sentence. I was like, oh god,
Ew.
not
But
no.
you like Dark
why?
Souls, so I distrust you immediately.
I do like Dark Souls, and that's part of the reason why I like this game.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, but continue.
I also like this game because it's really immersive and really pretty. Like it feels like a Star Wars game. Like the
Okay.
music, the atmosphere, the characters, the different alien races that you see right off the bat and stuff like that. Like it feels like the Star Wars universe, and that's what I really look for. Right? That's what I really want. It does have Dark Souls elements as far as the gameplay. It's very much timing based combat where you have to attack the opponent and stuff, but it's not as punishing as Dark Souls really.
That's a big selling point, to be honest. That's
You
good.
could also change the difficulty at any time if you want to do lighter
Is
difficulty
the
or heavier
game gonna
difficulty.
judge me like God of War?
God of War got a little judgy about it.
I-
Legit.
I don't know. I only played God of War on hard.
Yeah, that's when it. Yeah, that's when it got judgy.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't see it get judgy.
Oh, all right. Anyways,
So the whole thing about it is like, so if you die to something, you just have to hit it one time for it to give you back your points, like your force experience
Okay.
points. You don't have to kill it, and you don't have to find it on the floor. And if you die while it's holding it, you don't lose it. Like as far as I know, well, when you fall off a cliff, you don't actually die. It just takes a bit of health from you because it has kind of this like platforming Prince of Persia kind of element to it. Yeah, no, what's happened to Dark Souls? There's been Dark Souls times where like you fall off a cliff from fighting one of the guys trying to get to the guy that killed you, and now those souls are gone, right? And like that's Dark Souls. I had one just for a funny Dark Souls story for a minute. I was playing with Saint and Fallen, and Saint clipped through the floor of an elevator that we were in and lost like almost 100 million souls or something like that. Like it was some ridiculously high number of souls that he just lost because he clipped through the floor and he died.
That's the worst.
Like it was
That's
it was
rough.
terrible. Like he raged so hard. But anyway, so this one doesn't do that. It just takes a chunk of your health and then you can keep going and like try to get to your opponent. So I kind of like that. It's not as punishing. I also feel that the dodge is not as good as Dark Souls. I gotta say that's where the real judgment of Dark Soulsness comes in, is that dodge. If your dodge is off, it's no bueno.
Yeah, but that shit is boring.
It's not boring. It's very fun.
Having
Very
to
time based.
fuck.
There's also more than just atmospheric storytelling like Dark Souls, which is what I think you're talking about being boring. In Dark Souls, there's no real cutscenes. There's no real nothing. It's all lore based stuff that you find by like going through it. In this one, there's cutscenes and there's like story and there's stuff to like actually keep you into the story instead of like you just being like, well, what happened here? And you're like, I don't know. And then your friend tells you, oh, if you picked up that totem, you were supposed to read that totem by looking at it, and then it tells you the story of what happened.
So it's got story in it, actually in it.
It's got cutscenes. It's got pretty cutscenes because it's EA and that's what they focus on. Honestly, this game isn't very original. It's just they took a bunch of shit and mashed it all together, and then it worked really well. And I wanted to believe otherwise, but I was wrong to try to believe that. But it just works. It works really fun. It's really fun. Honestly, I don't own the game. I am doing the Origin Premiere, which is what I always do with EA. I spend $15 for a month. I play the shit out of the game. If I beat it, I beat it. If I don't, I don't. Most of the time I beat it if I really like it. And then I stop being an Origin Premiere member. I don't look back. I just keep going forward. So that's what I like about the digital market. I can fuck over shitty companies like this by only giving them $15 instead of paying a full $60 for one of their games. and then not look back at them ever.
The last EA game I bought through Humble Bundle, because through Humble Bundle I could specifically cut out EA's share
Yeah, I
of the
remember
money that I was giving them. That's just how that works.
But so far, I honestly recommend it. I'm only about 2 planets in. I don't know how many planets there are to go to. And it's one of those games that, like, as you do more stuff in planets, you have to go back to the other planets and like kind of complete it if you want to 100% it. It's not necessarily, though. Most of the extra stuff is all just cosmetic shit. You don't really need it. It's just there if you want to go collect it 100% of the game. I do like exploring, though. I like exploring the worlds. It's not as like hold your hand-ish, and there's no level design. So it's the other thing that Dark Souls gets really right is like the level design. Like you go from one thing to the other, like really, really like organically. This doesn't have that, which is not necessarily a bad thing for that game. It leads to more exploration. However, there are times where I'm like, I don't want to go this way because I'm not sure if it's the way to go or not. And then if I go the way, do I get to come back and do these ones? Like, I just don't know. So it leads to a little bit of confusion.
Well, and that was always the problem with even Knights of the Old Republic, right? Like, you're jumping planet to planet, and you don't know if jumping to the next planet's going to allow you to come back ever, kind of thing, for some of the side quests.
Yeah, but it's not just jumping planet, it's the level design in the planets. You're not sure if the direction you're going will actually lead you to the extras or if it will lead you to the objective. And so that's where the problem lies.
Mini map or things like that?
There is a mini map. You get this one. I think he's like.
Is there a mini moose?
BG11 or B11. He's like a little robot. He's cute as fuck. He's awesome. And he sits on your shoulder and like generates a map for you when you push the button. And like it's 3-dimensional. You can move it.
That's
and it has different
cool.
layers. Yeah, it's really cute. But it's also cute. Like it's also kind of confusing because like it's 3-dimensional. You can just go from one level to the other, and you're like, well, how does this level connect here? And like if you don't like actually know the route to go, or if you've been the route before, it's kind of confusing a little bit. But it's really fun. I really recommend it if you like Star Wars. I really recommend it if you like Dark Souls. And if you're somewhere in between, don't exactly like Dark Souls, but like Star Wars, I think you can find a balance in the like difficulty settings to make it fun for you. You don't have to go on hard. I'm going on hard because that's what I want to do.
Is it one of those stamina-based battle games, though?
No, actually, that's one of the cool things is there's no stamina. I can dodge as many times as I want. However, you do have a block gauge. So as enemies are attacking you, it will break down your guard eventually if you're not careful. And they're kind of cheap sometimes. Well, I don't know. Maybe they're not as cheap in the other settings, but in the hard difficulty that I'm playing, they will totally just hit you on the ground. So if you don't recover right away, or if you don't jump out of the way, or if you don't block right away, you're going to get hit 5 times and you're going to die.
I'll give you this. My boss who played the game, his exact quote for me was, "Oh yeah, I played Jedi Fallen Order. You're gonna hate it." But what he said he did, because he is also not a Dark Souls player, not a big fan of the whole like stamina-based fighter in general, he put it on the easiest mode there was and said, look, if you really just like Star Wars and want to jam through a Star Wars game, throw it on easy. It's really forgiving. It's really easy to do, and you can just enjoy the storyline. Yeah. He even did say, he's like, I tried it at not the easiest setting and just thought it was too tedious and I didn't want to bother. It's not even like the challenge got me. It was more just like, I don't want to put the effort into it. For him, it wasn't worth the effort.
Right.
Threw it on easy, played through the story, got the story, called it good. So that might be the kind of thing I do eventually if I see this in a $5 bargain bin. Outside of that, I don't see myself playing it, but I'm glad that people are enjoying it, and I'm glad that Star Wars games can live on. I kind of was hoping this would tank so EA would lose the license, but you know what? Good on somebody for making a good game. That's always appreciated.
That was also my thing. Like, I really wanted it to tank so that EA would no longer have it anymore.
Like, literally I'd even pick Bethesda. Or,
No, not Bethesda. No, not Bethesda.
Who's the one that I hate that you love, Eduardo? Bungie?
Bungie and BioWare, actually. You hate both of them.
Why is it all the B's? Bethesda, Bungie, and BioWare. Fucking give it to any of them, and I'll still play it over playing an EA.
No, see, I want either the people that do... I want either Relic Games to have it,
or
you're
talking about a good company. I'm saying give it to a shitty company.
No, fucking give it to Insomniac.
I just think that the like Relic Games or like the guys that do the Total War series can do so much with an RTS of like Star Wars. I really, really want it. I think it would be great. like in this day and age, like a really like nice one, either skirmish based or like a giant grand strategy, I would be in. I would be so into just like playing as like an empire faction going through and just glassing planets. Like
honestly,
just give it to me.
I feel the same way about Star Wars games that I feel about Star Wars movies. In a post Episode 9 world, I never want to hear another Skywalker Solo Empire story again for as long as I live. I love it. I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. I can't wait for Episode 9 to be like the best thing ever and then be done with it. And then after that, I want to hear Star Wars tales about any other time period. Any of them. I don't give a fuck. I'm so done with Skywalker Solos in the Empire. Like, this is a whole galaxy and only one interesting time frame has ever happened, and it's over the course of like 60 years. Fuck you. There are so many better stories to tell.
You're absolutely right. However, I will say that the Empire itself is just a reiteration of the Sith Empire that keeps coming back.
It's not, though. No, it's not. The Sith and the Empire are totally different. And
No.
They go
I'm
so
talking
far-
about the Sith Empire, not the
not.
Sith race.
It's not. Palpatine actually went through pains to make it different than that so that they would feel expendable. The First Order is closer to the Sith Empire, but the Empire itself was meant to be disposable, and he kept it at arm's length from being anything close to a second revitalization of the Sith Empire because he didn't want it to be that. It was meant to be destroyed. This was all part of his plan. That's why the motherfucker's back in 9.
I mean, that's fair, but it's still like the Sith Empire. He modeled it after
Really?
it just
It doesn't-
differently.
It doesn't even have the rule of 2 in any way, except for the secret Sith hiding in the Empire.
No.
It's nothing like it.
I'm talking about the actual like the Sith Empire from like the Old Republic and like those people that
Well,
were in.
And also,
You see what I'm
that's
saying?
not even canon anymore.
I understand that, but that's not the argument I'm having.
even
The
say.
argument I'm having.
Wait, I
is that-
thought the other EA game was canon.
It,
No, just the Jedi Order and the Fallen Order and the Battlefront series.
right. And let's get this out of the way really quick. I have so many friends who are huge Old Republic players, and every Old Republic player I've ever met is like, they've said Old Republic's canon. It is.
No,
Old
they're
Republic
not.
is canon.
Well, see,
No,
that's
it's
what
not.
I had heard.
I cannot find any official press from Disney where they say it. There's tons of people saying it. I have not seen Disney say it. As far as I've seen Disney say, it's the movies, it's the TV shows, excluding the holiday special and the Ewok specials. They do not mention games specifically except for the games that they've made post new canon. None of it is canon.
I think
Starkiller isn't canon.
I think Republic Commandos is part of that because it takes place during the Clone Wars and is about Clone Wars on the thing. But I think that's the only other game because I know that Kyle's out, the Jedi Academy's out. I know that the Old
Yeah.
Republic is out.
Well,
don't
Knights of
think
the, Knights of the Old
Firefighter
Republic 1
series-
and 2 are out.
Yeah, and I know that
Though
the-
weirdly cherry picked because like apparently Plagius is canon, and not even just like the mention of Plagius. Most of Plagius lore is somehow canon, and I don't know why.
Plagueis. Yeah,
Plagius,
well,
Plagius, it's GIF, whatever.
so that's because he did play. So if you ever read the story of Dark Plagueis,
But is this a post canon, or is this a post Disney or a pre Disney?
it's a pre-Disney.
So,
But
but,
if-
that's what I mean.
but this is where-
they claim they scrapped it all, but they seem to be using chunks like that book.
Well, to be
So
fair,
it's
though,
strange.
but that's because Darth Plagueis or whatever the fuck comes up in the trilogy.
He does. He
That's
comes up in
why.
episode 2 and
But
3.
but what
Yeah.
I mean is, sure, him existing can be canon, but it almost seems like things that they're building on are based on things said in the book that could have been ignored. Sure, he's said in the movie, so the character could be there, but for all we know, he could be the goddamn gumdrop fairy. You know what I mean? He could have been a hot blonde lady. We would have no idea because that the movies don't give us detail. But they actually seem to be building detail based on books that they claim aren't canon. So canon is at best at this point cherry picked,
Right.
Yeah.
which is weird. I don't know.
But that's what they wanted, right? I mean, they wanted
Yeah.
to scrap a lot of it so that they can cherry pick through it, so they can use what they want and create canon and like have a kind of actual congealed storyline. Because there was so much in the extended universe that it's kind of a lot. And honestly, having Dark Plagueis as like one of the actual few canon cherry picked is actually really good because that book was really really well written, and it really showed the story of him and Emperor Palpatine, Darth Plagueis.
Palpatine is Sidious.
Sidious?
Plagueis was his master.
Sidious. That's what I was trying to think of. Sidious.
Though also
Um,
apparently there's I just read so I'm doing my annual Star Wars marathon that I do every year. We've talked about the podcast and not going into it. I just did episode 2, but I had a question. I can't remember what the question was, but I Googled something, and apparently now there is a theory online that Sidious is Plagueis. Like apparently there's one line of dialogue that makes it seem like he didn't just kill Plagueis, he more killed the idea of Plagueis, and he is Plagueis, which
And that's why he's coming back.
that's why he's coming back in 9, as Plagueis had mastered death, and he can it's a weird argument that I don't know that I buy or like.
Well, there's
Well,
a
so
lot of
that's out
rumors
there.
about the new movie that are just kind of fucking wacky and out there.
So in the story of
Mandalorian is
Darth,
feeding into it.
in the story of Darth Plagueis, there is a part where it's really like, was he even a real thing, or was it just Sidious
Lore.
the whole time?
Yeah, so that's
You know what I mean? Like
they're
there's-
kind of building on that. Apparently,
I don't want to ruin that book because I really want you to go read it and like follow along with it. It's really really good. So I can see where that would happen. I think Plagueis might have been him. It could have been, because it could have been that he used another puppet as Plagueis.
right. It's one of, well, and honestly, there's really no point in speculating because at this point they can pull whatever out of their ass.
That's
Plagueis could have
true.
been a bunny. They can literally Plagueis could be Mickey Mouse. We don't know.
It's true. Oh, but on the other flip side, and related back to the game, is that they have one of my favorite like foreign bands. I think it's called the Hung or the Hung. It's this Mongolian metal band that's been around, and they're actually featured in the game, and they have a song playing at the beginning credits, and so they're part of Star Wars lore now.
Nice. I
That's
like
kind of
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of House of Mouse, was there any Star Wars characters in Kingdom Hearts?
No, not this time around. There also were not Marvel characters. They seem to be sticking to Disney Pixar solely.
Okay, because there's
Uh,
Final
and-
Fantasy characters.
And that's what I was getting to.
Square
and,
Enix.
and then the Final Fantasy tie-in.
There was also Tron though.
Yeah,
Tron is Disney proper.
Oh,
yeah,
is
you're
it?
right. It was Disney Studios.
Tron is Disney proper.
Disney
So, yeah-
Pictures, I think is what it was.
Yeah. And I was Wreck-It Ralph in it? Shit. I only played through 3 the once. I'm totally gonna play the Remind DLC when it comes out. I'm, as anybody knows, they are tattooed on my wrists. I am very, very into Kingdom Hearts, and I really don't give a shit what your opinion on it is. It's for me. I don't care about anybody else.
I like how
yeah,
he's all aggro. No one's challenging him on this. Just like,
Oh,
no,
fuck you,
no
and
one
fuck
honestly-
all you sons of
No,
bitches.
most of the time I can't mention Kingdom Hearts around a game without somebody being like, ugh, Disney bullshit. Like, okay, then don't fucking play it, Chi. I don't
I
care.
really enjoyed the second one. I never played the first one.
I haven't played any of them.
The second one is the best. Like, hands down, 2 is the best game. 1 is good. 3 is not bad. A lot of people, I think, were extra. Like, one of the biggest complaints I saw was like, there's too much shit going on. Okay, then don't do it. Like, there's tons of attack modes that you can use, but you don't have to. So, like, don't.
That's kind of how I felt
you're
about
fine.
fucking Spider-Man too. There were
But
just a whole
that's a
set
lot
of
of
moves that
modern
was
games.
like,
They
no.
give you a different way to play it so that you can play the game your way. You want to be a little more power heavy, a little more melee heavy. You want to be a little closer, a little further back. You
Yeah.
want to use a lot of specials. You want to use a lot of combos. You want to button mash your way through it. And Kingdom Hearts 3 totally does that. The big thing, there's all these things called reaction commands. So you build up a combo and you hit triangle and you can do a reaction command and like summon a roller coaster or summon a thing or do a crazy
Mhm.
combo. Or you can just womp shit with your Keyblade. You do not have to hit the triangle button. And honestly, like the damage that it deals is not so much that you're gimping yourself without doing it. Maybe the game will take a little longer because combats will be a little longer, but not leaps and bounds. Just
Yeah,
don't.
and it's like
But either way, what you were getting at, no, we're getting so off topic and we still got more stuff to cover. No, there was no Star Wars, there was no Marvel. Kingdom Hearts is great. Next topic.
All right,
Eduardo, change the background. Different
hold
thing.
on.
Star Wars is fun.
I actually do want to talk about this. So, did you guys see the teaser for this, the Ghostbusters
Yes.
Afterlife?
Is
Yes.
this not being called a trailer? This is a teaser. It looks like a trailer to me.
I don't know. I always call them teasers because whenever they don't actually tell you anything about anything, I find them to be teasers. Maybe it is called a trailer.
This was a little more than a teaser. I feel like a teaser is when they just like flash up a logo and a dick pic or something, and then it's done. This was a little bit more than...
I think you've been strip teaser.
Oh no! Have I been on the wrong website this whole time?
Yeah. So, anyways, actually, I do want to hear from Bonsai first because he does not like Ghostbusters. So,
Okay, let's get that out of the way right now. I'm not in abject hatred of Ghostbusters. It's just I was born in one of those like weird times where Ghostbusters had been out for a hot minute, so like my older brothers are really super into it, but I'm right on that cusp where it was kind of old. And I have the unfortunate circumstance of one of my older brothers in particular had these few movies that he would watch over and over and over. And I don't mean your typical over and over and over. I mean literally he'd put it in and he'd watch it and then he'd rewind it and then he'd watch it again and then he'd go find like online commentary and then he'd put it in again to see if he can catch all the stuff in the online in all the commentary. So I've seen Ghostbusters more than I've ever cared to see Ghostbusters. I'm meh on that shit. Hard meh. I didn't watch the all-girl reboot. Weirdly, my brother, the big Ghostbusters fan, actually enjoyed it. He said people were too harsh. Not that it's better than the originals, but that it's actually a fun little movie, and if you just let it go, it can be a fun movie. I didn't see it at all. I didn't care. I didn't not see it because it shit on Ghostbusters. I did not see it because it was all ladies. I did not see it because I didn't like any of the actresses. I actually like, as far as I can remember, all of them. I just didn't care. But having said that, I watched this trailer. I'm actually kind of into this. This seems fun. Like, this just seems like almost like darker and grander just from what they've showed us. And I'm into that.
Felt
I'm
very
into it.
Stranger Things.
I think you're only saying that because the kid from Stranger Things.
No.
I
but,
got zero Stranger Things off of this.
No, but like even the tone and because, well, maybe just the trailer, but they didn't really show you a ghost or anything, right? It was all very leading up to it, so that's the feeling I got.
You saw a ghost. I think you saw a Slimer.
Yep.
Well, you saw a green trail, and that's about it.
No, you see the actual body of it.
You see the body of it. I'm pretty sure it was Slimer. Honestly, I'm also into it, and I can see what you're saying, Eduardo, because it's set in a small town. It's very quiet, and then there's mishaps happening.
But
and
that's
it has the same
every
kid.
sci-fi thing ever.
I understand that. I'm just saying that it's awesome. I can see where he would draw that parallel to it, right? Especially in this day and age with Stranger Things being a big thing and people enjoying that.
Okay.
I'm
I
saying
feel
there's
like
not other examples, but
no, I more just feel like you're taking a thing that's meant to be an homage to that thing and then pointing a new thing of that thing going, oh, it's that homage. Yeah, it's an homage. It's supposed to be a generic thing. This is just that.
Oh, it wasn't a complaint. It was just a comment.
Just saying. Just saying.
Easy there, stud.
Yeah, really, like it's the same thing. So what if it's a newer homage that you're looking at instead of the older homage that you're looking at? It's the same homage,
Homageception.
Yeah.
right? So I'm just saying, why are you punishing him for that? You shouldn't.
Why you gotta call it out, bro? Let's be like, oh man, this other space movie has aliens in it. Yeah,
Like the movie Aliens.
space.
Like the movie Aliens.
I just feel like you're calling the lemon sour. That's all. I'm just
Just
saying you're kind of calling it
I
lemon
think
sour.
I'm calling you sour now.
Yeah, I'm calling you sour because my thing was is that I was just saying I
Lemon
could see
sour.
where he draws the parallels to it.
Yeah, but it's because no shit. Again, you're calling a lemon sour because the lemon is sour. That's the whole thing.
The lemons are sour, big guy. You got it. All right, what did you think of this goddamn trailer, Klops?
I'm pretty excited for it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot like Stranger Things. It's gonna be a blast. It'd be so fun.
Such a piece of shit.
All right, fair enough. Jesus Christ. All right. We are nearing the end. Do you guys want to hit one more topic, or do you guys want to close it out?
Depends on what the topic is.
I have a topic. It's called distrust. I almost said Stranger Things.
Yeah, he almost said Stranger
I was
Things.
like,
All right.
don't say Stranger Things. Don't say Stranger Things. It took me a minute to realize it was distrust. So I've been playing a game. Another game.
What game is it?
It's called Distrust, and it's actually a lot of fun. So it's a 2 to 3 person co-op game. You can play it by yourself with 2 characters if you'd like. So you don't have to play with anybody if you really don't want to. You can find it for about I think it's like
method.
I think it's like $12 on the Steam store just by itself. Maybe it's 20. I can't remember. Anyway, it's a game. It's based off of another homage called The Thing. It's in Antarctica. You play as a team.
Not even using homage correctly. It's not based on an homage. It is an homage.
I know what I'm doing.
Sloppy fuck.
And it's basically a game where you try to survive in this Antarctic cold with these aliens that are around. However, the aliens themselves don't appear until you go to sleep for some reason, which I haven't really raveled it out why that's a thing.
They're shy.
Yeah, a little bit, but they'll also fuck you up. Like they have different aliens, and as you progress further into the game, you get different aliens that do different things or different things. I don't even know if they're aliens at this point; they're just creatures. And it could be really tough. It could be really tough. You're trying to like get through different buildings and find different things and find what you need to exit that zone to go to the next zone. And there's 6 zones in total. I've only made it to 5. It's also pre-gen, so also every game mode it changes the layout and stuff like that. So it's not the same run-of-the-mill level.
Is this basically just a full game version of Who's the Vamp from the old what do you call it, BattleNet maps?
I don't know.
So the old Warcraft 3 BattleNet maps, there was a map called Who's the Vamp where 4 players went in. What the generators would shut off and you have to turn them back on to keep the lights and the cold going. But one person is a vampire and can turn on everybody and kill them at any moment.
No, this is not that because there's no PvP.
Okay.
It's only PvE. So it's only you versus the bots or the AI or whatever.
Okay. According to the chat, the aliens appear when you sleep because they are attracted to and come, I'm guessing, in our world via delta waves from sleep.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess that makes sense, sure. However, I find it to be a really fun experience. I was playing with my buddy Fallen, who's not on very often, and I got it for him because I was like, this seems like right up your alley as well, because it's like this survival and it's horror and it's just like a fun thing and it seems like it'd be good. And it was super tense. Like you guys got to really work together in order to get to the next zone because you have things that you have to like do at the same time, or you have to like ration out things. And the person that you pick also has abilities based upon their character. So there's all these different characters you can unlock. There's all these different endings you could have. And so like depending on who your person was, I ended up playing a guy named Casper. And he had a 1 to cold, but a 3 to walking speed and a 3 to running speed. So he did really poorly out in the element, and he had to get into a building and like heat it up. Otherwise, he was going to suffer negatives. Now, mind you, as you suffer negatives from your bars, if you get too many of them, you start getting like psychoses that happen to you. Some of them's like random humming all the time, or singing to yourself, or white noise, which is where you can't hear anything but white noise.
Ooh.
As far as the game sounds. There's ones that are like insatiable hunger, where like they'll just start randomly like taking something out of your inventory if it's edible and try to eat it, whether it's pills or use bandages or whatever. You gotta stop them from using it. You got ones that are like acts of aggression, which means that they'll be more aggressive towards the other person they're playing with, right? You know, they'll try to like hit them or something like that, right? You know, they'll be something stupid, or they'll like break things on impact or whatever. So it gets to be this really like, do we have enough stuff to like ration out and like help each other? What do you need now and what do I need now, right? And what can we do to like kind of save off death until like we can get to the next zone and see if there's more shit. I highly recommend it. I think it's a blast, especially if you're playing with friends. I feel that having 3 people play this game would be the perfect balance because you can cover enough ground and get enough things. And long as you're all communicating and sharing with each other, it should work out. There's a lot of times where I was starving and I watched that motherfucker eat a potato. And I was like, I wish I could murder you for that potato right now because it would save me right now. And I need that.
Can't you tell them that you need the potato?
I could, but I just decided to keep rummaging because I'm nice that way. I'll just keep looking for more stuff and try to like.
I'm totally nice, but I wanted to digitally murder this motherfucker, and if he was in front of me in person, I'd probably slap him.
No, I wouldn't have slapped him. I just didn't think it was worth fighting because I didn't know what he's like. Maybe he was just suffering as much as I was. I'm just saying that there's times where you're like, that potato can go a long way for me.
I feel like with our group, somebody would sit there and eat the thing you need in front of you and dance. Just like
Probably.
side to side. Like,
Probably.
I'm already full, but fuck your bullshit.
But I also know what it's like to get into it with Fallen. We played PUBG at one point, and he picked up all the bullets for the gun that I had, and I was like, I need bullets. And he's like, hold on, I need bullets too. I was like, no, Aaron, you don't understand. I don't have any bullets. I have 30 bullets to my name, and we're in a PvP game with a lot of people. And so finally, he was like, all right, fine, here. And like threw down the bullets. I was like, God, thanks. Jesus. And he's like, yep. And he like fucking shot me and like downed me.
Remember that.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this motherfucker better kill me because I'm going to murder him if he picks me up. And he picked me up and I murdered him.
I remember
And he went down and I shot him and I just walked out of the house. This was a ranked game with 2 other people. and like he rage quit and I walked out and instantly died and didn't care. I fucking just sat there.
I remember these guys didn't talk to each other for a fucking like 4 or 5 days. Just like they were mad.
Yeah, it was. So me saying, hey, motherfucker, why are you eating that potato doesn't seem like such a good idea at the time because I know that how him and I get when it comes to rivalry. And I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to be like, nope, fuck it. You eat the potato. I'll find something else.
How fuck the rest of the game. This person did me wrong. I'm going to fuck everything about this.
Oh, fucking Saint was so pissed because he was at the time was really worried about his rank.
Yeah, I remember. He was so fucking salty.
We totally fucked it.
All right, Buzzer, what the fuck did you just learn? Your face is all weird.
Pig-monkey hybrids are born alive in China, world's first. Scientists in China have created pig-monkey chimeras, looking like baby pigs, but with some primate cells in a world's first. 2 piglet chimeras were born alive, but died within days, New Scientist reports. The research could lead to scientists being able to grow human organs inside animals for transplants. Supporters say known as genogesic organosis. The research is highly controversial. Scientists opting to use cells from crab-eating macaws rather than humans for ethical reasons.
Yeah, that's where the ethics go in. Holy fuck, dude.
Pig monkey hybrids, motherfucker. Future is now. Eduardo, play us out.
Check us out. Tuesdays, 7 to 9 on twitch.tv/Metagame Network. It's multiplayer night. I don't know what kind of shenanigans we're going to get into tomorrow, but I'm probably going to hate them. Hey! Also, Bias Bros podcast comes out Thursdays?
Not this Thursday. It was last Thursday. And probably the next Thursday. Yeah.
Every other Thursday. Hooray.
Though by the time this posts.
Yeah, probably. All right. Klops, final words.
Homage.
Bonsai, final words.
Steven Universe Future. It's the whole next episode.
All right. I'm sure it'll be just like Stranger Things. Okay, bye.
Bye.